Advanced English Arabic Learning Session 30. She seemed to stand by as her family teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is reality. The upstarts who dare to challenge the legitimacy of his rule. Hay cropped several times through the summer. Relativistic effects. The corneal surface is ablated. To entomb your inner personality. I absent-mindedly gnawed on some fries. Enjoying a lunchtime interlude. I worked as a silversmith then goldsmith. Last year's version did somewhat discomfort me. Despite my dismissive attitude towards. If you are dozy, you are feeling sleepy and not very alert. I had to skid my bike sideways to avoid broadsiding her. He launched a broadside against the economic reforms. Do you have any shout-outs to the homies in Europe? He had also been struck by a number of shotgun pellets. The impunity enjoyed by military officers. Assimilate stuff crafted from goat's milk. He had besmirched the good name of his family. The sled picked up speed as it slid down the hill. Males produce small motile gametes. As he passed Jenny's door, he paused momentarily. My husband will be here to pick me up momentarily. A popular book filled with the usual psychobabble. Products set to debut at the show. The smokes impede breathing. Being self-employed has its upside. Dropping in after work for a wrap over a beer. That old cliché, a woman's place is in the home. She believed she had had fairies at the bottom of her garden. He had come on the pretext of bidding her farewell. A sack of flour. He was accosted by a stranger on the street. A demure wife who sits at home minding the house. Scrounging for work again. He had managed to scrounge a free meal. The largest covered operation in history. A rowboat that is nearly swamped in the ship's wake. Human apprehension and comprehension of nature. To top it all off, he asked security to escort him to the door. You don't like long farewells? Tectonic plates that inexorably grind against each other. Healing claustrophobic people by coterie. Everybody was cheering and upping their glasses. Pursuing his fare in a solitary street, a beautiful woman. A variety of exotic locales. An early exponent of the teachings of the Prophet. She is an exponent of healthy nutrition. Adam Smith was an exponent of free trade. He might now be hailed as an early exponent of globalization. An Amber Alert means a child abduction emergency alert. The company is heavily reliant on the baby market. An inverse relationship is the opposite of a direct relationship. He began to verse extemporaneously in her ear. The Social Security budget was rising at an exponential rate. An exponential curve. The exponential growth of the world's population. He was grounded for hitting her on the head. Do you fancy a cuppa? Our business has been growing exponentially. Values distributed exponentially according to a given time constant. The grass was patched with sandy stretches. We didn't want any secret organizations on our patch. They did their best to patch up the gaping wounds. Any ill feeling could be patched up with a phone call. The jacket was with leather patches on the elbows. His hair was combed forward to hide a growing bald patch. The situation might change, so he should proceed with dispatch. He conducted meetings for the correspondents and censored their dispatches. On his sleeve there was a red patch. Her jeans were neatly patched. Patch me through to number 9, connect. A batch of bread. A batch of loyalists and skeptics. He dispatched messages back to base. I'm left with a huge scar and a large bald patch on my knee. Why would she dare to dispatch a message to him? Scotland will be cloudy with patchy drizzle. Your coursework was patchy. Rainy with a slight chance of patchy sunshine. The weather has been patchy. He told the barman to put everything on the tab. A resolution authorizing the dispatch of a peacekeeping force. We had to psych ourselves up for the race. I love her to death. She's so fierce. It is down the road. Declawed cat at a porch swing swatting at a fly. He was cranky after 8 hours of working. She told her anonymous critics to man up and speak publicly. My guilty pleasure has always been art films. I was juggling that thing like a hacky sack. Young people played hacky sack on the beach. Indigo blue shirts with stand-up collars. She had a stand-up row with her husband. He began doing stand-up when he was 15. Checkmate is really an abbreviation for check and mate. They grow up into skanks so fast, don't they? Hundreds of men were cut down by crossbow fire. Each pledged to desist from acts of sabotage. A condo, condominium, is a unit that is owned by a single individual. The scene is indeed too much down to earth. She's a down-to-earth woman with no pretensions. It is easy to deal with someone who is down to earth. To be characterized as down to earth by others is basically a compliment. That girl sure likes to show off her Panama City license plate. The aircraft is widely regarded as the Cadillac of commuter planes. He is the Cadillac of rebound guys. Rabbits gestate for approximately 28 days. A series that has been gestating for 3 years. The moth emerged from its pale yellow papery cocoon. We felt cold even though we were cocooned in our sleeping bags. The prize will be winging its way to you soon. These old houses just gobble up money. This small department was gobbled up by the Ministry of Transport. A large number of jubilant fans ran onto the pitch. Various people had been smitten with untimely summer flu. She was smitten with the boy. That fully exemplified why he is so smitten with the blonde model. He exemplified his point with an anecdote. Students expect their teachers to exemplify good behavior at all times. He smites the water with his sword. The shimmering waters of Lake Tabaraya. The blades of the scissors are a pair of wedges. What city was the birthplace of the hippie movement? She looked very hippie in her jeans, of a woman, having large hips. He was jonesing for some coke again. How do you discipline without timeout? He called for a timeout from the game. What is timeout punishment? Chinese art influenced her to paint figuratively. He even refused to join the team huddle during a timeout. We left a lot of people literally and figuratively in the dark. You burst out from your cocoon like a butterfly. They created a huge buzz with their latest album. Just jot down the title on a postcard and wing it to us. Braces don't hurt at all when they are applied to the teeth. The thought gave wings to her feet. Step-forward wife is a married woman who submits to her husband's will. It was a leisurely dinner with much chit-chat and laughter. The souffle was hard on top and quite runny underneath. The official decision a judge makes is a ruling. Resolution of the conflict was contingent on. We've told him you were coming, he's really psyched. Sketchy people will hacky sack you. You let me dodge a bullet, big guy. The smash knocked the door off its hinges. Its usual and inalterable course. To reclaim and cultivate the desert. I don't know why I put up with you. What are the different styles of bangs? She was a committed pacifist all her life. He spent most of the 1990s roving about the Caribbean. At about 8 months my son became very clingy. You are pretty good in your feet and I am paralegal. Jack is very good on his feet. You have to think on your feet in this job. I put on weight because I was constantly nibbling. Ulcers were bandaged with antiseptic gauze. The previous movie had tanked at the box office, fail. He went off to freshen up in the local baths. He may cut the Gordian knot by booting me out. The employee who exemplify the core values of the company. She's got a Gordian knot of anger inside that she seems to nurture. The man's hands were cuffed behind his back. Each year the school counselors face the Gordian knot of scheduling classes. The melee of people that were always thronging the streets. Several people were hurt in the melee, scuffle. He sparked a melee that left the heartthrob with broken sunglasses. A heartthrob is often someone famous like a movie star. Crunches vs sit UPS, which one is best and how to do it. She was totally sporting a baby bump. The dangers of letting industry befoul the environment. A gremlin or goblin in my computer omitted a line. A hut is a building of a lower quality than a house. The end. Coming next. Session 31.